hold on now. Before you call up that salon and book the same appointment you've been booking for the last 15 years, I want you to sit down with me for a minute. Because if your hairdo hasn't changed since your grandkids were in diapers, honey, we need to have a little talk. In the next few minutes, I am going to hand you 6 haircuts that will have the ladies at your church asking what you've done differently, plus the 3 questions you need to ask before you ever let anybody near your head with scissors again. And stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you the 3 sneaky little habits that age a haircut faster than a birthday candle ever could. Now, if you're new to this porch, welcome. I'm Classic Fashion 60+, and this whole channel is built for women just like you and me. Women who still want to turn heads at 60, 70, and beyond without spending a fortune or losing an ounce of who we are. So go on and hit that subscribe button right now, because once you see what's coming, you are not going to want to miss what I've got planned for next week either. Now, let's be honest with one another, the way girlfriends are honest. So many of us walk into that salon chair and say the exact same dangerous little sentence. Oh, just keep it easy for me. Just give me my usual. And 9 times out of 10, that lands us right back in what I call the granny cut. You know the one I mean. Round, puffy, sits up on your head like a little helmet that hasn't moved since the Clinton administration. It doesn't catch the light, it doesn't sway when you walk, and worst of all, sugar, it can add 10 years to your face faster than any wrinkle or any gray root ever will. And here is the part nobody sits us down and tells us plainly. It is very rarely your hair's fault, and it is almost never really an age problem at all. It is a shape problem. The very same head of hair, cut with real structure instead of that same tired round shape, can take a decade right off your face without a single needle, without a single dollar spent on anything fancy. That is not me exaggerating to keep you watching. That is simply how a good line and a good shadow works with the natural softening that happens to all our faces as the years go on. Think about it this way. We pick out a pretty blouse, we dab on a little lipstick, we stand up a bit straighter when we find the right cardigan for our shape, and then we go and top the whole outfit off with a haircut that whispers, "I gave up trying somewhere around 1995. Nobody meant for that to happen, honey. It just crept up on us, one keep-it-easy appointment at a time. Well, not anymore. Your hair can transform your whole face in under an hour, sitting right there in that salon chair. No surgery, no fillers, no expensive little jar of cream promising miracles it can't deliver. Just the right cut, in the right hands from a stylist who actually understands what mature hair needs, instead of fighting against it. So stay with me because we are counting down from the mildest change to the most dramatic transformation you could ask for. And I promise you, by the time we land on number 1, you will already be picturing yourself walking into that Sunday brunch with your girlfriends, turning around to look. Number 6, the tapered crop. This one is for the woman who wants short, polished, and just a little bit sassy without tipping over into severe. Picture a refined Pixie but softer, with real texture woven through instead of that stiff, chiseled look you might be picturing in your head right now. The back stays close and tapered to show off that pretty neck of yours, while the crown keeps enough texture built in to give lift right where most of us start losing our volume first, right there at the top. If you've noticed your hair sitting flatter up top than it used to, honey, this cut is often the answer, because short hair with the right internal texture can create an illusion of thickness that long hair simply cannot fake. And here's some good news for those of you sitting there worried about your gray. Natural silver and white hair usually has more grip and more texture than color-treated hair does, which makes it just beautiful for a crop that needs a little natural wave to hold its shape. If part of you has been thinking your gray limits your options, let this be your proof that it does the very opposite. Styling could not be simpler. A little bit of cream worked between your fingertips, rake it through, and you are done. No blow dryer marathon required. Now, since we're on the subject of easy, let's talk for just a second about how you dress around a cut this short, because proportion matters just as much in your closet as it does on your head. A crop this close to your face means your neckline gets to do some talking. A scoop neck or a soft V opens things up beautifully, and a statement earring, nothing too heavy, just something with a little shine, draws the eye right up to that pretty jawline the crop is showing off. If you've been hiding your neck under turtlenecks for years out of habit, this cut is your permission slip to let it breathe a little. Number 5, the long layered wave. This one is for the woman who still wants some length, some softness, a little romance in her hair, without going full wild child shag. These waves work best on hair cut somewhere around the collarbone or just below it. The layers should stay soft, not choppy, so everything moves the way a real wave moves, not the way a costume wig moves. Think of this cut like a well-tailored dress. It looks effortless on the outside, but there is real structure holding the whole thing together underneath. This one is especially helpful if you've noticed some thinning right at the crown, which, between us girls, is one of the most common changes that happens with age, and one of the least talked about. Layers placed thoughtfully around those thinner areas create lift and dimension without ever looking sparse or overdone. Style it with a large curling wand or a round brush if you want a little more polish for a special occasion, but keep in mind the goal is loose and soft, not tight and springy. Here's a little trick most stylists never bother to mention. Never start your curl right at the root. Start about 2 inches down from your scalp, and you'll keep that volume up top while still getting soft movement everywhere else. Now, with a length like this, think about your accessories differently than you would with a shortcut. A longer hairstyle can actually carry a scarf beautifully, tied loosely at the neck rather than tight and prim, and it pairs gorgeously with drop earrings that peek out through the waves instead of getting swallowed up by them. Balance is everything, sugar. If your hair has a lot of movement, let your jewelry stay simple, and let the hair be the star of the show. Number 4. The French chin bob. If you're not quite ready to say goodbye to length altogether, but your current hairstyle is doing absolutely nothing for your face, this is your bridge. It typically lands right at the chin, sometimes a touch below, and what separates this from a dated bob is entirely in the shape underneath. You want a clean, blunt perimeter with the weight thinned out underneath, not those chunky, choppy layers scattered across the top that were popular 20 years ago. That distinction matters more than you'd think, because a poorly cut version of this bob can look just as flat and tired as the granny cut we already talked about. That blunt edge makes hair appear fuller and healthier even if you've thinned over the years, and it catches the light along that clean line, giving your hair a glossy, almost polished look, like you just stepped out of the salon, even on a Tuesday morning at home. Tuck one side behind your ear to show off an earring and open up your face, and let the other side sweep forward for a little mystery. This cut is wonderfully versatile too, sleek and straight for church, tousled with a little texture spray for running errands, or lightly waved for date night. Now here is where proportion really comes into play, ladies. A chin-length bob draws the eye straight to your collarbone, so this is the perfect moment to invest in one really good statement necklace, something that sits right at that collarbone and doesn't compete with the hair but complements it. Skip the long dangling pieces here. They'll fight with the blunt line of the bob instead of working alongside it. We are already a good quarter of the way through today's list, and I promise you, the next 3 cuts coming up are the ones that get the most jaw-dropping before and afters in my comment section every single time I post about them. If you want to see those transformations the moment they go live, subscribing is the simplest way to make sure you never miss a single one. And honestly, it helps this little channel of mine keep the lights on so I can keep making them for you. Number 3, the soft shag with curtain bangs. If you want texture, movement, and ease without a lick of stiffness anywhere in sight, this one might be my favorite on the whole list, and it is having a real moment again this year for good reason. A shag gives your hair diagonal and vertical lines instead of one flat, rounded shape, and that movement keeps the eye traveling across your face instead of settling into one heavy spot. Round shapes tend to emphasize sagging, honey. That's just the plain truth of it, while diagonal, broken up shapes do the exact opposite. This style pairs beautifully with soft curtain bangs that part in the middle and frame both sides of your face. Those bangs can soften your forehead, gently camouflage any lines you'd rather not draw attention to, and pull focus straight up to your eyes and your cheekbones, which is exactly where you want people looking. Ask your stylist for short to long layering, with the shortest pieces concentrated up at the crown and everything gradually lengthening as it moves outward. That structure gives you real, lasting lift without teasing, without heavy spray, and without frying your hair with a hot iron every morning of your life. If your stylist cuts this shape all in one even line straight around your head, sugar, that's a mistake, and it's your cue to find somebody new. This shape needs to be carved softly with a razor or point-cutting shears, not chopped bluntly like you're trimming a hedge. And while we're talking about softening the face, let's talk about your glasses for a moment, because so many of us are wearing readers or bifocals these days. A shag with curtain bangs pairs wonderfully with a lighter, thinner frame, something that doesn't compete with all that lovely texture happening around your temples. If you've been wearing the same heavy frame since your last prescription change, this might be the season to lighten those up too.
Number 2. The Pixie. This is the shortcut for the woman who wants softness and femininity without fully committing to a traditional pixie. The Pixie, part bob, part pixie, gives you that clean, lifted nape you love about a pixie, combined with just enough length left up front to soften and frame your face. That balance between short and long, bold and gentle is exactly what makes this such a flattering choice on so many different women. The real secret is in the asymmetry. A long, sweeping fringe angled across the forehead creates a diagonal line, and diagonal lines, like we talked about with the shag, are always more slimming and more dynamic than anything perfectly round or straight. Gray hair truly loves this cut because the natural texture in silver strands gives it built-in body and personality that color-treated hair sometimes struggles to match. Styling is refreshingly simple. A little cream raked forward while your hair is still slightly damp, and you let the shape do the rest of the work. It reads as expensive and intentional while being about as low maintenance as a haircut gets. Now, because this cut is short and shows off your ears and your neckline both, this is the moment to reach for a bolder earring than you might normally wear. Don't be shy, honey. A Pixie can carry a little drama in your jewelry that a longer style would drown out. And if you're wearing a crew neck or a boat neck sweater with this cut, you've got yourself a full, polished look without doing much of anything else. Number 1. The sculpted bob. If I could hand every single woman over 60 just one haircut for the rest of her days, it would be this one. No hesitation whatsoever. This cut is sharp, it is clean, and it looks expensive in a way that is nearly impossible to fake with any other shape. More than that, it creates the illusion of lift right along the jawline, which is one of the very first places most of us start noticing softness as the years go by. A blunt, horizontal line right at the chin or just below acts almost like a stop sign for the eye. It gives your whole face structure, and it makes everything above that line look firmer and more intentional, almost like a quiet little lift without a single needle involved. The mistake most stylists make with this one, and honey, it happens all the time, is piling on too many visible layers up top, trying to add movement. That is exactly how you end up with a round, mushroom-shaped mess instead of the sharp, architectural line you were after in the first place. What you want instead is a blunt perimeter with the bulk thinned out from underneath, completely invisible from the outside, removing weight without ever breaking that clean bottom edge. It's a whole different technique than regular layering, and it's the reason this cut looks so much more polished than the average bob you'll pass on the street. Styling is about as simple as it gets. A flat iron for sleek or a blow dry with just a slight inward bend at the ends, and that is genuinely enough. Blunt ends reflect light far better than feathered ones, so your hair reads healthier and shinier, even on a day you didn't do anything to it. Now, with a cut this crisp, let your outfit follow that same clean line. This is not the moment for busy patterns or a dozen little accessories fighting for attention. One structured blazer, one clean necklace, maybe a single cuff bracelet. Let the sharp lines of your hair and your clothing speak the same language, and I promise you, the whole look reads pulled together and expensive without you spending a fortune to get there. If that last one just made you sit up a little straighter in your chair, well, that is exactly why I sit down and make these videos for you every week. Go on and subscribe if you want that same little confidence boost delivered right to you, because this whole channel exists for moments just like that one. Now, we are done counting, but we are not quite done talking, because a beautiful haircut in the wrong hands can still turn into a disappointment. Stick with me a couple more minutes, because this next part might be the most important thing I say to you all day. Let's talk about color for a second, because the wrong color can undo every single thing we just covered. So many of us are told to go lighter and lighter as we get older, on the theory that it softens everything out. But hair that goes too light all over with no depth left anywhere close to the root can actually wash out your complexion and flatten your whole face instead of lifting it up. What tends to work far better is leaving a little depth close to the root and gradually lightening as you move toward the ends. That contrast frames your face the same way a good cut does, and it makes gray or silver hair look intentional and rich instead of simply grown out and neglected. If you already have natural gray or silver you love, resist the urge to fight it with heavy, all-over color. A few soft, low-maintenance highlights woven through can add dimension without erasing the very texture that makes gray hair so striking in the first place. Your color and your cut should be pulling in the same direction, not fighting one another. Now, here are the 3 questions that separate a true artist from what I call a granny cutter. And honey, I want you to write these down because you are going to use them at your very next appointment. Question 1. How is this cut going to work with my natural texture if I don't get up early enough to use a round brush every single morning? A real stylist cuts for your real life, not for some 15-minute fantasy blowout you and I both know you're never actually going to do on a Wednesday. If the answer you get back is vague or defensive, that tells you something important right then and there. Question 2. Can you show me exactly where you're planning to create lift and how you're going to keep it from rounding out at the bottom? This one tells you almost instantly whether your stylist understands shape and balance or whether they're just going to trim you up the same way they trim everybody else. A confident, specific answer is a very good sign. Question 3. How do we keep my ends looking blunt while still keeping the whole shape feeling light instead of heavy? That single question reveals whether your stylist truly knows how to balance fullness and softness at the same time, which honestly is the hardest technical skill in every cut we talked about today. If these 3 questions just saved you from another disappointing haircut, do me a little favor and tap that like button because it genuinely helps other women just like you find this channel. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with 3 quiet little mistakes that age even a beautiful haircut faster than anything else. The first is thinning shears. Avoid them whenever you possibly can. Mature hair tends to be more porous and more prone to frizz, and thinning shears can leave you with fuzzy, weak-looking ends instead of soft ones. A far better choice is point cutting with straight shears, which adds texture and softness without tearing apart the integrity of your shape. The second mistake is skipping your heat protectant before you style. Mature hair typically has a more compromised outer layer, which means heat damage shows up faster and looks rougher than it would on younger hair. A lightweight protectant spray takes 15 seconds, and it is the difference between glossy ends today and dry, brittle ones 6 months down the road. And the third mistake, maybe the most common of all, is waiting too long between trims. Even the easiest cut on today's list needs a little shape refresh every 6 to 8 weeks. Blunt lines and clean shapes especially depend on precision, and precision does not hold forever. Let it grow out past that window, and a wonderful cut slowly creeps right back into that granny cut we started this whole conversation talking about. One more small thing before I let you go, sugar, because I think about this one more than people realize. The products sitting in your shower matter almost as much as the cut itself. So many of us are still reaching for the same shampoo and conditioner we bought 15 years ago, formulated for hair that had entirely different needs back then. As our hair ages, it typically gets drier and more porous, even when it doesn't feel that way to the touch. A moisture-focused shampoo, a lightweight leave-in, and one good deep treatment a week can make even the simplest cut look noticeably shinier and healthier, in person and on camera both. You don't need 12 products lined up on that shelf. You need 2 or 3 that are actually formulated for the hair you have right now, not the hair you had decades ago. Your hair, and honestly your whole look, should not be a monument to who you used to be. It should reflect exactly who you are today, right now, not who you were 20 years back, and certainly not some idea of low maintenance that's really just another word for giving up. A great haircut changes more than your reflection. It changes the way you carry yourself into a room, the way you smile in photographs, and the way you feel in that one quiet second when you catch yourself in a shop window and don't look away out of habit. You have spent years taking care of everybody else, putting your own reflection dead last on that list. Well, it's time to stop shrinking yourself down, honey, and it can start with something as simple as one honest conversation in that salon chair. So here's your homework. Walk over to your mirror, look at your bangs, look at your jawline, look at the whole shape framing your face, and ask yourself one honest question. Does this haircut lift me up? Or is it weighing me down? If any bit of this spoke to you today, go ahead and subscribe to Classic Fashion 60 Plus right now so you never miss the next one of these guides. Next week, I'm sitting down to cover the 3 hair colors that quietly add 10 years to your face and the ones that take them right back off again, so you will want to be right here for that conversation too. And before you head off, leave me a comment down below and tell me which one of today's 6 cuts feels most like you, or the style you would never let a stylist talk you into again. I read every single one of them, I promise you that. You deserve to feel beautiful, current, and confident every single time you look in that mirror. So like this video if it helped you even a little bit. Subscribe for more of the best style advice for women over 60. Say hello down in the comments, and let's make this season of your life the most stylish one yet.